Hello, and you are listening to Spirit Talk Show. I am Doyle. I'm your host. We are here listening and reading and enjoying AI-generated stories. Spirit Talk Show, bedtime stories for grown-ups. If you would like to get involved, you can go to spirittalkshow.com. There you'll find all the information about past shows, idle information about me. I don't know why you'd need to know that. Well, maybe you'd love that. And you can see all our past shows. Of course, you can see us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all those typical places. But as I said, we are reading AI-generated stories. I'd like to have friends in the studio with me. We're going to read some stories and maybe have some fun. And today I have a fellow countryman from Ireland. I have Lucky McIntyre with me on Zoom remotely. How are you, Lucky?
I'm doing very well. Very excited to be here.
Okay, great. Well, you are Gaelic and Irish descent, or did I hear you were Scottish descent?
Both.
Both. Okay, well, we can forgive you for that part, I guess. So,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
so tell us a little bit about. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and what your excitement is, and what's fun for you in life.
I'm a therapist and a writer. And I grew up doing a lot of dance. My mother was a ballerina, my father was a drummer. So
Okay,
music is very important to me and how I spend a lot of my off time, either creating or listening or dancing.
great.
Um,
So you're
yeah.
still performing right now.
Just for fun.
Okay. Well, I mean, we didn't. Nobody mentioned money, Lucky. We just. I just asked if. I just asked you if you're performing. So, so yes,
Yes, here
okay.
and there.
And
Yeah.
you also are keeping yourself busy. You're also a therapist. You specialize in a special type of therapy.
Yeah, I'm a somatic psychotherapist that also fuses IFS and attachment work for CPTSD and neurodivergence.
Okay, that's a lot. There's a lot of acronyms there that people might not
I
know.
know.
I kind of think I know what the word somatic means. Is that talk therapy? Okay.
It's actually the opposite of talk there. It's body-based therapy.
Okay, so it's a touch thing. It's like a massage thing, like Reiki. I don't look that kind of like energy thing, or are you actually
That
touching?
can be an aspect of it.
Yeah.
I currently provide telehealth, so I can't do, hands-on work, but
Okay.
somatic meaning like understanding that we are more than just our minds. We
Yeah.
are a whole system, a whole body, and so much of who we are and our memories and pathways to healing exist through accessing the body, having more connection to it.
Great. I think I believe it. In the last few years, I've got more in touch with that side because I was very skeptical until I had some paranormal experiences, but that got like made me open to other things. So,
Right.
so you have a newsletter. What do you want to tell people about? Where can we find out about you, and what do you want people to know about you, where they can find what you're doing?
Yeah, I write a weekly Substack newsletter called What's Healing Me Lately, and it just kind of are channeled memoirs that I write about my experience as a wounded healer.
Okay.
And what is healing me right now, different anything from Epsom salt to reconnecting to ancestral roots, big and small things.
Okay. Wow. That's really good. So you said Substack. So what is Substack?
Substack is a website for folks to send out newsletters every week. It's kind of like
Oh, yeah, I
sort of a
see.
social media
I see. I
site,
see.
but it's just for writing.
Okay.
And there are no ads, unlike
Oh
all
well.
the
So
other social media sites.
so are all
Yeah.
the are is this like is all the articles in your newsletter is written by you, or are you having articles by other people?
They're just by me.
By me.
They
Okay.
sort of like weekly stories about how I'm healing right now, but also the resources I'm using so people can also ideally get inspired in their own journey.
Okay. Cool. So I think we're going to get a little trip into your mind today, reading the prompts you made up today. So it's always interesting to people that the things that people could come up with. I wonder why they picked that thing. That kind of is telling, right? um, so,
Totally.
we read stories on the show, right? AI generated stories, and you can see on the screen there. Of course, the listeners can't, but you can see I just generated a story from ChatGPT, right? And we're going to read it. Are you ready to read?
Ready.
Okay, so when you're ready, just go ahead and get started.
Once upon a time, in a lush and vibrant forest, there lived a small bunny named Raven. Unlike the other bunnies, Raven didn't feel quite at home in the bustling world around him. The other animals in the forest would hop and skip and play together, but Raven often found himself overwhelmed by the noise and commotion. He preferred the quiet moments where he could sit still by the stream, listening to the gentle babble of the water and feeling the soft breeze rustle through his fur. Raven's uniqueness didn't go unnoticed. The other animals sometimes teased him for his differences, calling him strange for his love of solitude and his habit of collecting shiny pebbles and feathers. But Raven didn't mind too much. He found comfort in his little treasures and the patterns they formed when he arranged them on the forest floor. One day, while Raven was on one of his solitary walks, he came across an old wise owl perched on a low hanging branch. The owl had seen Raven many times before and had been observing him closely. Raven, the owl hooted softly. I've noticed you have a special way of seeing the world. There is magic within you, but it's up to you to discover it. Raven tilted his head, his ears twitching with curiosity. Magic? But I'm just a bunny. How can I have magic? The owl's eyes twinkled. Magic isn't always about grand displays of power. Sometimes it's in the way you see the world differently, in the way you can find beauty in things others might overlook. But to truly discover your magic, you'll need to face some challenges. Raven wasn't sure what the owl meant, but he nodded politely and continued on his way, pondering the owl's words. Over the next few days, strange things began to happen. One morning, Raven found a flower growing from the ground where he had placed one of his shiny pebbles. Another time, he stumbled upon a group of animals arguing and, without thinking, arranged some of his collected feathers between them. As soon as he did, the argument ceased, and the animals seemed to calm down, as if a weight had been lifted from their hearts. Each time something magical happened, Raven felt a warm glow in his chest. It was a feeling of connection, a sense of belonging that he had never experienced before. But with each magical moment, there were also times when Raven's abilities caused things to go awry. Once, when he was feeling particularly overwhelmed, he accidentally made it rain inside his burrow, drenching all his treasures. Another time, his magic made the trees grow so thick around him that he couldn't find his way home. Raven began to doubt himself. Was the owl wrong? Was his magic more trouble than it was worth? But every time he felt like giving up, he remembered the owl's words. Magic isn't always about grand displays of power. One evening, after a particularly difficult day, Raven sat by the stream, tears in his eyes. He watched the water ripple and flow, feeling lost and alone. But as he sat there, something amazing happened. The stream began to glow with a soft, gentle light. Raven watched in awe as the water lifted into the air, forming a shimmering shape, a shape that looked just like him. The glowing bunny made of water and light hopped towards Raven and nuzzled him
Hmm.
gently. In that moment, Raven realized that his magic wasn't just in the things he did, but in who he was. He was different, yes, but he was also special. His magic was a reflection of his heart, his unique way of seeing the world, and his ability to bring calm and beauty to those around him. From that day on, Raven embraced his magic. He learned to control it better, to use it to help others, and to bring a little more light into the forest. And in return, the other animals began to see him differently too. They no longer teased him for his differences. Instead, they admired him for his strength and kindness. Raven was still the same quiet bunny who loved solitude and collecting treasures, but now he knew that he was also something more. He was magic, and he was loved. And in that knowledge, Raven found a peace he had never known before. He wasn't just a bunny, he was a spark of magic in the world, a light that made the forest a little brighter for everyone.
Okay. So, what did you think of that story that was just generated on the spot?
So heartwarming. My heart is like expanding. My smile is big. It's
Oh,
so
wow.
sweet.
That's good. That's usually these AI stories don't get such a positive response. I think Raven is an interesting name for a bunny.
Yes.
So the premise of the story was that the bunny was normally just wanted to be, but he was magic, and I didn't really get what the water character was. That his spirit animal? Do animals have spirit animals?
I mean, probably.
Hmm. Okay. So
It could even just be like his essence, but sort of like reflected on the outside, like back to him or something.
okay. That's an interesting way. It seemed like it should have ended. It should have ended. Strength and kindness. It seemed like the last two paragraphs were maybe superfluous. But I'm so glad you
Hmm.
liked it. That's really fun. Sometimes the reaction I frequently get is, "Oh, that was good, but it missed a few things, or it was repetitive, or something like that." So hey, great. I'm glad you like it. Um,
I do think it's interesting how it took like it name in my prompt, it was like an autistic bunny. Like that was one of the specific, aspects of the self. And I thought it was interesting how the story um it definitely like named aspects of being autistic. I'm autistic, which is and
yeah,
I also think that bunnies themselves are autistic. I have a bunny named Raven who inspired this story.
yeah, yeah.
But it's interesting that they didn't use that like they didn't name Raven like explicitly as autistic. They just kind of named a couple of, very stereotypical aspects.
Okay, so well, why don't you
But
go ahead and read the prompt there? There's the prompt. You want to read the prompt at the top there?
it says a story about an autistic bunny named Raven who learns through trial and tribulations he is magic and he is loved.
Okay, so I'm on the spectrum myself. I understand, and honestly, it's funny that you said your bunny is because I jokingly say it, but my dog Luna is the most. She is so neurotypical for a dog. And it's so bizarre to figure out. Like she does some strange undog like things, and she does some quirky things. Like she won't come when you call her, and then a few minutes later she's come because
Yes.
I'll come when I want. She will only drink when we walk. I discovered on a hike she will only drink out of this blue bowl. She needs to have her blue bowl. She will die of thirst if she doesn't have the blue bowl.
Oh my goodness.
So I think I don't know if that's yeah. So like for
Right, right. Yes.
focused and a little bit like you can kind of like personality a teeny bit off sometimes. That's what she seems like. So
Right.
we jokingly say
Yeah,
she's autistic, but she might
totally.
be. Okay, let me see.
Absolutely.
So let me see. I'm going to do one for me. I always like to do rhyming ones. Let me do this one. Okay, here I go. In a town called Skittleskew, not far, not near, something strange began one day. Oh dear, oh dear. The skies were blue, the grass was green. But what came next was unforeseen. It started with a puffle puff, a little sound, soft but tough. The townsfolk looked up in surprise as purple rain fell from the skies. But this wasn't an ordinary rain, you see. It smelled like candy, sweet as can be. It plopped on hats and umbrellas too, and turned them to sticky hue. And then, oh then, the ground began to wiggle, and from below there came a giggle. The earth split open wide and grand, and out popped the giant marshmallow hand. Wow, Ghostbusters. Uh, um,
Wow.
it wiggled its fingers 5 in a row and waved to the people, hello, hello. The townsfolk gasped. They couldn't believe. Was this a trick or was it just make believe? The hand they clapped. What? The hand they clapped? Oh, the hand then clapped. Sorry, they. The hand then clapped. I thought that they all clapped the hand. It's like, it's like when okay. The hand then clapped.
Totally.
And what do you know? The turns treed into the turns treed. Trees turned into cotton candy, pink and slow. Is cotton candy pink and slow? What's slow about cotton candy? Okay.
Right. Like
I don't know.
I wonder that as well.
Yeah,
Pink, yes.
pink.
Slow,
Okay. I don't
interesting
know. Slow.
choice.
Yeah. The birds sang songs in sugary tones, while jelly bean rocks rolled like stones. The mayor of Skittleskew, Mr. Magoo, scratched his head and wondered what to do. But before he could speak or call for a plan, the marshmallow hand reached down and ran. What? It
Oy.
it what the hand what reached down and ran? Okay. It tickled the
Yeah, I'm
mayor.
like imagining.
Oh, like where the big hand, like it's pretending to be, its fingers are being feet. Okay, yeah, I guess so.
Maybe.
I don't know what it means. Okay, it tickled him. It tickled the mayor. Oh, what a sight! He laughed and he giggled with all his might. The townfolks joined in. They couldn't resist. In this magical world, who could be missed? What? Did I miss it?
Hmm.
But just as quickly as it began, the hand waved goodbye. It was done. Its work was done. It sank back down deep in the ground, and the purple rain stopped all around. The skies cleared up, and the grass was green. But something had changed in Skittleskew's scene. For ever since the puffle puff day, the town had a sparkle, a magical way. The people would smile and say with a grin, remember the day when the fun began? When purple rain fell and the hand said hello, that's the day Skittleskew found its glow. So, if you ever visit the curious place, look for the sparkle and the candy-like trace. For Skittleskew's, where the unusual's true, you'll find that magic can happen to you. Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, what do you think of that one?
So interesting, this marshmallow
Yeah.
hand.
Look.
Like,
Well, yeah. It didn't really explain what. Sorry. It didn't really explain. I clicked on the wrong page. It didn't really explain what is it came out of the hand. We just a marshmallow hand. Was it detached from?
right.
Was it detached from a? I don't know. Was it
Thing. That's my question as well.
like Adam's family thing? Was it like that? And that what?
Yeah, like it
Yeah, that's what I'm
or
saying.
thing. It was called thing.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
called thing. I think you said that. Like it said. There was a weird part where it said. What was that odd line that we found? And it like stopped all around. It began. Okay, where was it? Well, you
Oh,
remember?
the marshmallow hand reached down and ran.
Oh yeah, the marshmallow hat. What? Oh, I guess it must be a thing type thing if it can reach out and run, right? Reach down and run. Okay.
Right.
Okay, well, let's see if we can find an equally funny one for you. I don't know if your second prompt is going to be funny. We could make it funny. Do you want? Well, we'll just go.
Yeah, let's make it funny.
Okay, so let's see what we can find here. Okay, so I think you should try this one. I think it'll be a fun one for you. Do you see it right there?
Hmm.
Okay, so go ahead.
In a small town called Snoozeville, where life was as slow as syrup on a cold pancake, there lived a 26-year-old named Black McWafflenose. Blake McWafflenose, actually. Blake was your typical 20-something American with a job at a local coffee shop, a love for avocado
Oh
toast,
my gosh.
and a deep burning question. Who am I?
Avocado.
Really?
Avocado toast, the whole millennial thing. Stop buying avocado
I
toast. You can afford
know.
a house. It's
Why
so
do they
ridiculous.
always?
So ridiculous. Okay. Yeah.
One morning, after a particularly intense scroll through a genealogy website, Blake decided enough was enough. It was time to reconnect with their ancestral roots and discover the true essence of the McWaffle-Nose legacy. Armed with a dusty family tree, a backpack full of snacks, and a strong Wi-Fi signal, Blake embarked on the greatest adventure of their life. The journey began with a flight to Ireland.
Slancha.
Sancha,
Yeah.
the alleged homeland of the McWaffle Noses. Upon arrival, Blake immediately felt a connection. Or maybe it was just the jet lag. Wandering through the misty hills, Blake searched for anything that screamed ancestral roots. They finally found a pub called the Waffle Nose Tavern, which seemed like a sign. Inside, the bartender, a burly man with a red beard, grinned widely when Blake introduced themselves as McWaffle Nose. Ah, McWaffle Nose, you say? Well, we've got a special McWaffle Nose cocktail. It's just whiskey with a dash of more whiskey. It's what your great, 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 great grandpappy used to drink. Blake took a sip and instantly felt nothing except the burning sensation of strong whiskey. But undeterred, they pressed on, visiting ancient castles, kissing the Blarney Stone, which tasted suspiciously like old chewing gum, and attempting to river dance with a group of confused tourists. But Ireland, as magical as it was, didn't hold all the answers. So Blake's journey continued to Scotland,
That's
where the
interesting.
McWaffle Nose clan was said to have fled after a particularly nasty spat over sheep.
But
That is so interesting because my McIntyre clan literally did originally come from, it's like a Highland
yeah.
clan,
Hmm.
but it originally came from Ireland and then over to the Western Isles and coast of Scotland.
So
So
it's
that's just
yeah,
really
it's really funny
wild.
that AI seems to know this about you, and it seems to really
Yeah.
connect it. That is kind of strange because we didn't tell it, right? No,
No,
no.
no.
Well, so how would they know? I think they're listening. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I keep interrupting you. I think you're on right
Oh
there.
my goodness, not at
Okay.
all. It's so wild that they knew that.
Well, that's some people
In
find it creepy.
Scotland,
Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, in Scotland, Blake donned a kilt and tried haggis for the first time,
Hmm.
which left them questioning their entire life's choices.
That would do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a small village, Blake encountered a man playing bagpipes by a lock. When Blake introduced themselves, the man's eyes widened. McWaffle Nose, you've got the ears of a warrior and the nose of a, well, of a McWaffle Nose. Blake's heart swelled with pride. Maybe this was it, the key to their identity. But then the man added, I also tell fortunes. For 5 quid, I'll tell you what your future holds. Blake paid the man, who closed his eyes and hummed dramatically before declaring, your future is filled with breakfast foods. Pancakes and waffles as far as the eye can see. Blake was beginning to suspect that the McWaffle-Nose legacy might be less about ancient warriors and more about a family obsession with breakfast. Undeterred, Blake's next stop was Italy. After all, wasn't everyone a little Italian? Not me. In Rome, Blake tried to blend in, but their attempts at speaking Italian resulted in confused stares and a lot of spaghetti.
Oh, that's a little bit insulting. Okay. So, I don't know.
Yeah. They visited the Vatican hoping for divine insight, but the closest they got to a revelation was slipping on a marble floor and nearly taking out a priceless statue.
Oh my gosh.
One day, In a small Italian village, Blake stumbled upon a festival celebrating the ancient order of the Waffle Knights. This had to be it. Blake joined the parade, waving a McWaffle-Nose family crest they'd hastily drawn on a napkin. But as it turned out, the festival was a mistranslation. Waffle was supposed to be waffle,
That,
as in the sweet treat.
okay. That's funny.
Blake spent the day covered in syrup, chased by children wielding waffle cones.
As you do. Yeah.
Finally, after months of travel, Blake returned to Snoozeville, a little more worldly, but still no closer to discovering who they really were. Exhausted, Blake collapsed onto the couch and turned on the TV. There, on a cooking show, was a chef talking about the origin of the waffle, claiming it was the most misunderstood dish in history. Blake laughed, realizing something important. Maybe the true essence of the McWaffle-Nose legacy wasn't in ancient castles, grand traditions, or mysterious locks. Maybe it was simply in embracing the silly, the unexpected, and the joy in one's life pleasures, like a perfectly cooked waffle.
Well, I think that was a fun story. We're kind of running out of time in this part here. So if you guys would like to get involved, go to spirittalkshow.com. Spirit Talk Show, bedtime stories for grown-ups. I usually don't say that without stuttering, so that's good. We will see, come back after this, and we will continue reading stories with Lucky. You'll come back after the break, Lucky, read stories.
Totally.
Okay, great. So come back after this break, and we will see you soon.